Hello, amazing entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 348, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/348. This is another special spotlight episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast, and I am joined on this one by the fantabulous Leonie Dawson. Now, our conversation drifted around between talking about brand loyalty, talking about showing up authentically as yourself, and some advice that Leonie has for people who are potentially resisting showing up and getting stuff done, but also how to just reflect who you are uniquely and authentically in your content, in your writing, and in how you show up on the internet. So it's a really helpful episode. We also had quite a good little discussion about affiliates. So if you've been thinking about being an affiliate for Leonie or bringing on affiliates yourself, it's a great episode to listen to. So without further ado, I'll hand it on over.
I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart Centered Business Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this spotlight episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. And I am joined today by the fabulous, the rainbow-coloured, the amazing Leonie Dawson. Welcome, Leonie.
Oh, thanks, Tash, my darling. It's a joy to be here.
Oh, the mutual love fest between the two of us is palpable, and people will pick up that we are big fans of each other. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And now we actually live close to each other, which is even better because we both
we're like in-person friends, guys. I've just hung out quite a bit at Tash's place, so much so that I bought my own favorite tea to store at her house.
And it's there, and it reminds me of you every time I see it. It's so beautiful. So, Leonie, you have been in business for donkey's ages, as we say in Australia, for yonks and yonks and yonks. And actually, you were one of the first online business owners that I found in the online business world from Australia. So you've been part of my business journey for quite a long time. But for those people who have been living under a rock or for some reason don't know who you are, do you want to give a little intro about who you are and what you do, those sorts of things?
Sure, I'm just some rando who likes to talk shit on the internet, and I have done for a really long time. I started hanging out in message boards in 2002 and started selling my art there. And then I had a blog in 2004, been blogging since then. And I kept on trying out all these different kind of creative and spiritual things that I wanted to do and see how I could make money from them. I still worked full-time for the Australian government. So it was just kind of really an exploration and play phase, and it was just the best time, honestly. That exploration phase of my 20s was just the coolest. And then 2008 or so, I was like, right, I want this to be my job full time. And so I remember going for this walk and making a decision I'm going to earn $30,000 in the next year from purely just my business. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to do that? Because I was selling art and I was running retreats and things like that. And I just could not work out how on earth I would make $30,000. And I think at that point, a lot of people go, well, it's just impossible. So I give up. But I'm really grateful to my brain, because my brain was like, well, other people have managed to work out how to make that happen. So we can just learn the same things that they know. And so I really committed to becoming a student of business and marketing and learning how to build a vessel, a really strong vessel to take my gifts out to the world in. And so I did end up doing $30,000 a year that year, and then I doubled the next year to 60, and then doubled the year after that to 6 figures. My husband and I formally retired from the government in 2010 when we had our first daughter, and just kept on growing the business from there. So I've brought in over $13 million in revenue now. I've only ever worked about 10 hours a week because I was either working or had kids. So I've had other priorities. My my goal workbooks have been used like by half a million people worldwide. I create lots and lots of different e-courses and stuff like that, and I sell them at fairly low prices just because I like helping like shit tons of people, and because I'm a stingy bastard myself. So like,
Good enough reason. Yep.
yeah,
Love it.
just stingy bastard alert.
And so you've had your academy before, and now it's back, which is very exciting. I'm a member of Leonie's Academy, which has all of her current courses in there, including my two favorites, Sales Star and Write a Book in 40 Days. And it has live calls and stuff. So if you're not in the academy, it's not open at the moment when this podcast comes out. Doors are closed at the moment, but make sure you jump on the wait list and get in there when doors reopen, because it is so brilliant. And Leonie, your workbook was actually like your business and life planner, yearly planner, was how I found you. So it's been since 2014, I think I've known of you, but yeah, we got to meet in real life now since I've moved here, so that's brilliant. So one of the things that I love and adore about you, there's lots of things, but one of the things I really love and adore about you is how you are just you. So if someone says, oh, please, can you do this? You're like, nope, my autistic brain can't handle that. I'm not doing that. Or if someone says, oh, why don't you do high ticket, blah, blah, blah. You're like, no, that just doesn't suit me. And you're very upfront and honest about who you are. But what that's done is created the most loyal fan base I have ever seen in my entire life. So at what point did you just decide, I'm just going to be me? And if you don't like it, don't come. If you do, welcome. Like, how did you make that decision to just be unapologetically Leonie?
I think like there's kind of two like pivotal points of that. When I was I'm a late diagnosed autistic person. So I wasn't formally diagnosed until my late 30s, but very like really deeply innately knew that there was something different about me as a child. And I remember when I was 13 and 14 and everyone was trying to be cool at school. And I remember looking around and going, well, everyone's trying to like, hustle to get to the top tier of cool people. Nobody wants to be a scrubber, which was called in my school.
Yep.
You're regional North Queensland, you get just, the oddnesses. But even the ones that managed to get to the top of being cool, they still weren't happy because they weren't actually just being themselves. They were just try like using this facade of being cool, whatever that looked like. I thought, well, I could try to be cool, but they look miserable anyway. And I also know I'm not geared that way. I can't. So my other option is I could just fully embrace being completely myself, have the best fun while I'm doing it. And some people are going to really love it. And I'm going to find really beautiful friends that I'll be friends with, for the rest of my life, some of them. And there will be others that just go, you fucking freak. And I'll be like, that's fine. You whatever, you do you, I'll do me. So I'm committed pretty early on to being just a full-blown weirdo within myself. Because that was the funnest way to be. I knew that I would just have the most amazing time.
Yeah.
And then when I started building my business, I was working for the Australian government, and sure, I could have like continued to ascend up all the ranks and, earn a lot of money in the Australian government, but it meant being a much more washed down version of myself. I wasn't going to be able to fully be myself in it. So I'm building this business on the side, and why the fuck would I ever want to replicate those conditions in my business?
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to go all out, like continue to be all out in my business. And because that sounds like a joyful thing to do.
Yeah. I love it. And I cannot believe the amount of strength and maturity and thought processes that young Leonie had to even discern. I was the opposite. I was like, I will do anything to be cool. Please accept me. I think as an extrovert, as a connector person, I just wanted everyone to be my friend. I set about turning everyone into my friend as best as I could. But I have no lifelong friends from school because when I eventually decided I'm just going to be me, that wasn't who they were friends with. So it's really fascinating, and it blows me away that someone so young can make that decision and just do it. And I think that your brand, your business, the followers that you have are a beautiful reflection of that little Leonie's decision. And I'm very grateful that she made that decision because it's so inspiring. And so you have, as I said, very loyal followers and a very loyal audience. You took a break from social media for an extended period of time. And when you came back, you still had hundreds and hundreds of people engaging, like instantly. Like they just, oh, you're back. Yeah, they're so excited. They still hung around for so long. What do you attribute that loyalty to?
So like for me, I don't really see them as customers per se. It's not like a business transaction. It's a long-term relationship. And I am always saying to my customer service people, like, hey, I treat these people like they're our friends, because they are our friends. A lot of the people that are my customers are people that I went to school with, or I have known in message boards since like 2002. Like I have so many people that have been there since the day I opened my fucking blog, and on social media, as soon as I came back, they're like, oh my God, again, hey babes, and
yay.
yeah. And they were still hanging out my business because they're still on my mailing list and still buying shit during all that time as well. So I think of it as a long-term relationship. And my accountant said to me once, he said, Leonie, when we look at customer life cycles, usually it's counted in months in terms of a company, a customer not knowing about you, getting to know you, buying from you, and exiting the business. It's usually, 3 months or whatever, but we wouldn't count yours in months. It wouldn't even be years. We would be looking at decades because you have a very sticky system. When people come in, they don't leave. And I think it's because of my, always, I'm going to over deliver wildly. I am going to give them, I want to delight and thrill them. And I want to make it just like the easiest yes of their lives to purchase from me and go, oh my God, that was fucking awesome. Of course, I want to tell everybody else about it. And of course, I want to stick around and see what this wild bird does.
Yeah. There is so much power in just being able to witness you, right? So because you're so open about what's going on with you, you share multiple facets of not just your business and what's going on behind the scenes, but also your life and some of the struggles that you face and some of the celebrations we celebrate with you. You're open about your income levels each month in your reviews. So there's so much to be said for just that. Like, I love that. Like, it's treating it like a friendship. It's and with friends, we're open, we're honest, we share the good, we share the bad. We're not afraid to have a whinge about something that's annoying us.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful. It creates that sense of intimacy and like that they know you, which is really powerful. And I actually was saying this the other day. Sometimes when I'm explaining someone to David, I'll be like, oh, my friend has da 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 da. And then I realize, well, they're not really my friend. I just follow them on the internet. You know what I mean? But there's such a relationship there that I do consider, oh, that would be my friend, just off the cuff. They don't think I'm their friend. But it's that beautiful thing of connection and creating community, which is just gorgeous. I love it so much. Okay, so if someone is listening to this and they're thinking, I've got a bit of a facade going on, I want to be more of myself, what would your advice to be to them? And what do you think they'd have to look out for that might get in the way of just being more themselves?
Well, I think first and foremost, like to recognize that, like be really forgiving of yourself, because of course you have put a facade up because it's safer that way, because you might have, you've received so many societal messages for so long to be like, no, just like, don't be that. Whatever you are, just don't be that. And so it's just it's an unlearning process, and you don't have to beat yourself up for it because you haven't done anything wrong. You've just responded to how things are. And you can, like, you don't have to expose yourself all at once.
Yeah.
You can just put a little bit more of yourself in. Like, okay, what feels like a little bit scarier? What feels a little bit more vulnerable, but what feels good to do? And like, I want to say, like, I've talked about a lot of things publicly, about, when I've had depressive episodes, when I've been diagnosed with autism and ADHD, when I had hyperemesis gravidarum in my pregnancies, when things have been really, really awful and painful. But I do it in a way that's still safe for me, in that I usually don't talk about it in depth until I'm through it and have somewhat healed from it. So I don't use the internet for my support.
Yeah.
That's what therapy and that's what my partner and friends are for,
Yeah.
that's what the inner work is for. And then being able to share about it is part of that healing experience. It just sort of comes more at the end.
And
So you can do it in a way that's healthy and that's sane. And there's definitely been parts where when I went through postnatal depression, I remember a friend saying to me, like, one day you're going to write about this and it's going to be really helpful. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I would never. No, thank you. This is like, that's disgusting. I would never. And then, like a year later, when I was through it, I was like, no, I want to share about this because one, it's going to heal me as I write about it. And two, if it just helps one person who's suffering, I feel so protective over people who have just given birth. I feel so protective of people who are in vulnerable states of mental health. And so if I can just reach out and go, hey, you are not the only one here, and it's completely okay for us to experience this and things can get better, then it's fucking well worth it,
Mm, that's so beautiful. I think Liz Gilbert says share from the scar, not from the wound, or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's very similar. That allow some of the healing to happen before sharing. I've seen also with my community, because it's such a large scale community, it's so engaged. Sometimes people will share something really vulnerable in the moment, and they're so well supported, and it gets so much behind them that they almost get lured into this only showing up in pain and never showing up with the positive. So that's also something I would personally, have observed and would, just pay attention to. Is it always the complaints? Is it always drama? Is it always the big pain that we're sharing? Or, are we also sharing in the sunshiny and the happy moments? And you definitely have a lot of that you share. And so much advice as well. That's something that I think sometimes you don't get the real honest advice. You get the shiny version from people online. They want to make it look like it's this schmick process that they got perfect every single time from the very first time. And so some of your content where you're reviewing things and saying, to be honest, that didn't work, or I'm not going to do that again, or those sorts of things. It's just so brilliant. And I think it also gives other people so much permission to do the same. I was on one of the calls in the academy just recently, and people were talking about launch plans and pre-launch and all that kind of stuff. And your honest answer was, I just say it's available now. Do you want it? And then when it's not available, I say it's not available anymore, right? Like, and it just is such a relief that there's not a 108-step launch process that every single person must follow perfectly in order to be successful. There's different versions of launching, from just say it's available right through to some of those more complex ones. But that not one is better than the other. Look how many millions you've made. It's brilliant. Yep.
Just basic bitch launching, just like, hey, it's open. You want it, guys? Oh, you do? Cool. Oh, doors are closing, guys. Hurry up. The doors are fucking closing. Done.
You're not afraid to give us that rev up and say, it's closing. Come on. Yeah. Which is
yeah. But like, an aspirational version of myself is somebody who has a more detailed launch plan. Like, I have been wanting to try out what a fucking product launch formula thing is. And then I have had that program since maybe 2012. Have I watched more than the first video? No, because I keep falling asleep. One day I may be able to like try some of that shit out, but it's just not in my skill set currently.
Yeah. And that's not a reason to not do stuff. Like you're one of those people who knows how to take action and get stuff done. I have some of your postcards on my wall, and it literally one says, Leonie says, get your shiz done. It's one of my favorite things to look at each day, because there's lots of reasons why not to take action, but actually most of them you can just ignore for a while. Just go ahead and do something, which is brilliant. Another thing that I think is reflected in your brand loyalty is how many affiliates you have and how vocal they are of sharing with you. Have you always had affiliates? Where did that come from? And why do you think that they're are they an integral part of your marketing strategy for you?
Like they bring in usually between like 10 and 20% of my sales. So like, they're not essential. They're like lovely icing, and I'm super fucking grateful for them, you know. For me, I much prefer using affiliates rather than Facebook ads. Like if given the opportunity, I will always choose affiliates over Facebook ads, because in my experience, the people who share about my work, they're more likely to be my people, and they're more likely to find more of my people. And they'll also like go like, this is amazing, I got this out of it. And like they can kind of vouch for who I am as a human. But when I do Facebook ads, man, we end up with some fucking random people, right? Like no matter how hard we velvet rope it, people like rock up and they're like, oh my God, you swear, I'm so offended. I'm like, oh my gosh, God, you didn't even read the sales page. Fuck, man. And then also like, you know, if they're Trump supporters and shit like that, like it's not gonna fly. Like they're gonna get real upset. And I try to be very clear about that, but sometimes Facebook ads, I don't know, you just get some randos in, and I'm not a huge fan of it. So I fucking love having affiliates, and I love being able to, like, I'd much prefer like sending money to, you know, small women business owners and stuff like that than ever sucking the dick of Zuckerberg, you know.
So good. And do you have advice on how to support and encourage affiliates to be active and all that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, at the end of every single course that I do, I have a special invitation and there's a video, and I just really quickly explain what affiliate marketing is, like how it works, how the program works, how much money you get when it works, all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of my people are not serious affiliate marketers, you know what I mean? It's not their business. They probably have never even heard about affiliates before. So I explain it to them like, hey, you want to share about my work and I can give you some money as thank you. And they're like, that sounds good. And I give them all like a free program called Affiliate Star on how to run an affiliate business, how to like do affiliate marketing, where you can market, how you do all the things, like I have a big resource center, all that kind of stuff. So that ends up being really helpful just to educate them through that process. And then as well, we do competitions like really regularly. And like the competitions is like, some of them are like serious prizes, like you get, you know, like coaching with me, which you can't buy elsewhere, or you get, you know, like $1,000 extra in cash, or you get an iPad, or you get whatever. And then some of the prizes are just fucking stupid, like unicorn t-shirts, crystal dildos, $200 voucher to buy fairy costumes off Etsy, like just what the fuck ever. And so sometimes people just do it just because they want to win like the third prize because it's a stupid one. So whatever makes me laugh, I'll do.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I remember the crystal dildo prize affiliate most recently, and the email that announced that was just hilarious. I think I read it 4 times because it was just so good. And I think that's also a reason why people really love you and hang out with you so much, because your writing is you as well. Sometimes people that I follow who they're on camera and they're on video, it just doesn't sound like them when I read their stuff. Whereas you, I know that you wrote that.
I also like, because okay, so like my whole thing when it comes to writing, my whole goal is like, how can I make myself either cry because I'm very deeply touched inside, or make myself get the sniggers, just like just like a real chaotic little goblin on it. And so I think I sent an email to my whole list, and because I'd worked out how much money I'd sent out to all affiliates over the years, and I was gobsmacked at how much I'd sent out. It was nearly $700,000 to affiliates, and I thought, that's so fucking great. I'm so thrilled. And so I was explaining, about the affiliates, and I'm like, oh my God, look what I won. And then I made a joke about how I was Miss Proserpine Showgirl. And then I thought, no, I should probably back that up. And so I found a photo when I was 18 and I won this stupid regional show. And I look fucking radiant in this picture, I just want to say. And the guy who took the photo, he was a real rando, and he ran the nudist park in the small regional town that I lived in. And he kept on saying to me, turn further to the side, and then look back. And so it ended up being like me this way. And then my tits were just this organism upon themselves, like splendid. I've never seen my tits look like that before or after. And so it was just a real thing. And so I ended up going, well, you know what? Sure. Add this to your spank bank. Just make sure that you laminate it because it's wiped dry, like safety first, be thoughtful, you know? So this serious kind of business email just descended into absolute chaos. And that's how I prefer it.
Yeah. We do too. Don't ever stop doing that. It is so entertaining. And it guarantees that the next email you send, we're all going to open it, because what if she talks about dildos? What if she shares another photo of her glorious boobies? Like, come on. You keep us guessing, which I love. Yeah.
I know. I'm full of multitudes.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I just want to so me and Tash, we went away, and I would just like to recount this. Me and Tash are very competitive people, and we come from small regional Queensland towns. We should be related, but we're not. And so we went away for my birthday with a bunch of our friends, and then we started playing card games and realized that both of us are very competitive. And everyone else kind of just started backing away because we were so competitive. And at a certain point, because I'm such an asshole, I said to Tash, what was your finishing score at school? I was pretty sure mine would be it would potentially be quite high in comparison. And Tash's is very high. She's a very, very smart person, let me tell you, but
not as high as
Leonie I got.
It was the Monopoly card game equivalent of a pissing contest, really.
It really was. It really was. It's I'm such a loving person, but then I'm also such an asshole when it comes to card games.
I love it. Embrace that competitive spirit. I love it so much. And I think that's what works for your affiliate program as well, because some people just like the sense of being on top. They like the sense of being winner. I won it once and I was like, yeah, I want to do it again. I'm going to replicate that success again. So yeah, some people are driven by that, and some people, they just love sharing, and some people like helping others, and some of us just want to be on top, and that's okay.
That's right. Number one. It's like me and Davey, your partner. We are competing to be the president of Tash's fan club, official fan club. And he said to me, this asshole texted me and said, look, we all know I'm going to win, but I would like to offer you the place of vice president. And I said, you go fuck yourself. You go fuck yourself, David. I will never be number two. I would rather be dead than number two.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, I love this so much. Now, if you've been listening along to all of this and you also want some more Leonie in your life, she is speaking at the Heart Centre Business Conference in May. Be sure to go and grab your ticket. Use the coupon code Leonie50. You'll get $50 off. That's amazing as well. And also, Leonie has an epic free shit page. And it's not shit. It's free stuff. It's good free stuff. But it's called the free shit page. So we'll also link to that in the show notes of today's episode, because you don't have to buy something from Leonie to benefit from her years and years of business wisdom. And also, if you go and sign up for any of those freebies, you'll get on her mailing list and you'll get those amazing emails straight to your inbox. Some are NSFW, just be mindful of how quickly you scroll if you're reading them at work. And make sure you go and check them out. There's some brilliant resources in there, things around productivity and getting stuff done, some things more about business strategy, some things around organization, art stuff, how she does things on the iPad. That's one of my favorite freebies of yours, Leonie, is actually learning about some of the tools that you use to do your art as well. So yeah, we'll make sure that we link to all of those in the show notes so that you can go and check them out. Leonie, thank you so much for coming today. Last thing I always do in podcast episodes is ask, if I was to quote you on anything, what would you want me to say?
If I what?
If I was to quote you on anything,
Oh,
if I was going to say Leonie Dawson said, what would you want me to say?
that your vagina is like one of the 8 wonders of the world. You know, it's massive, it's moist, it's humid, it's got a magnetic power to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's got its own ecosystem. It's got animals that are not found anywhere else on earth. You know, like it's that powerful. So just carry yourself with that kind of pride, you know, because magnificent 8th natural wonder of the world.
Yep.
Between your legs. Well done, guys. Well done.
Perfect. I'm gonna dictate that onto Instagram. It's going up. I love it. Thank you so much, Leonie.
Dictate.
Thank you so much again for joining me, Leonie. This has been absolutely magnificent. For those of you who are curious about what Leonie's talking about at a conference, she's actually running a workshop that's specifically talking about building brand loyalty, but also through that lens of not having to put on a mask and pretend to be someone else just in order to get that brand loyalty. So it's going to be absolutely epic. I can't wait to listen to it. So thank you so much, Leonie. We'll see you at conference.
Oh my God. And can I just apologize in advance? I just want to like do a blanket apology for whatever I do at conference. Okay, guys, like who knows what will happen? I never know. But like Denise Duffield-Thomas has already been like, please don't put me on the same table as Leonie Dawson because I will get in so much trouble. And I was like, that is fair. That's very fair. But I am going to like sneak up behind that bitch. I am going to like stalk her in the toilet. Just be a real creep about it, you know?
Yep. She put herself on your radar. So
that's right. She called it out. If she just sat on my table like she should have, then I wouldn't be so like enthusiastic about like drawing her into the drama circles. So, you know.
It's going to be hilarious. I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Until next time, everyone, we cannot wait to see you shine, and we'll see you next time on the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Bye for now.
Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.